There lived a small rural village, nestled between the gentle curves of two great rivers. Its community thrived for generations on the abundant fishing opportunities that its unique location provided. The villagers made a living by fishing, which provided them with food and supported the local economy. For as long as anyone could remember, the villagers had risen with the sun to cast their nets, lines, and traps into the waters, reaping a rich harvest of fish, crustaceans, and other aquatic delicacies. They were skilled at making nets, boats, and fishing gears, and they sold their fresh seafood to people from the nearby towns. The villagers had a deep connection with the rivers and respected their power. Fishing was a way of life, passed down through generations. Children learned how to fish from their elders and grew up to become skilled fishermen, contributing to the village's prosperity. Johnny, a hardworking but struggling fisherman, lived with his lovely wife in a modest home by the riverside. Despite his tireless efforts, Johnny's fishing business wasn't doing well. While his fellow fishermen seemed to haul in abundant catches with ease, Johnny's net often came up empty, leaving him with barely enough to put a meal on the table. The struggle to provide for his family weighed heavily on Johnny's shoulders. His wife and daughter relied on him, and the pressure to put food on the table was relentless. Sometimes he felt like his dreams of a better life for his family was slipping further and further away. Johnny and his wife had an adorable daughter named Moni. She was a bright and charming young girl with a beautiful voice. Her love for singing was evident in the way she would burst into a song at every opportunity, whether she was playing in the village, walking to school, or simply helping her mother with household chores. As she sang, people would stop and listen, mesmerized by the beauty of her voice. The villagers would smile, nodding their heads in appreciation. Even at school, Moni's classmates and teachers would often request that she sing, and she would happily applaud her. Moni's singing talent was undeniable, and her passion for music was. She had a way of making everyone around her feel happy and uplifted. Despite her family struggles, Moni found happiness in the little things that she had. As a little girl, Moni was delighted by her father's fishing trips. She would often beg Johnny to take her along. "Dad, please take me with you. I want to see the fish. I want to help you catch them," she would plead. And Johnny always smiles, promising to take her fishing when she was a bit older. In the meantime, Moni found plenty of ways to keep herself entertained in the village. She would spend hours playing with her friends, running through the narrow streets, laughing and chasing each other. They would play hide and seek around the village houses, climb trees, and pick wildflowers. Moni also assisted her mother with various household chores. She would eagerly join her mom in the kitchen, helping with meal preparation. Moni also assisted her mom in other responsibilities, such as washing the dishes after meals and sweeping the house to keep it tidy. One day, when Johnny returned home from his fishing trip, he began to sort and package his meager catch for sale at the market. As he was handling the fish, one of them accidentally slipped and fell into a nearby bowl of water. However, he didn't notice it. As Moni stood at the kitchen sink, washing the dishes, she began to sing in a happy tune, but she suddenly stopped when she heard a faint splashing sound coming from a nearby bowl of water. Curious to know what was making the sound, Moni turned to investigate the noise. She was surprised to see a fish flapping its fins and splashing water everywhere. Moni quickly called out to her mother, Mom, come see! There's a fish in the bowl. Dad must have dropped it by mistake." What Moni didn't realize, however, was that her beautiful singing voice had actually caused the fish to move. As Moni grew older, she didn't forget the promise of her father. Johnny had promised to take her fishing. She would often remind her dad with excitement, "Dad, you promised to take me fishing. When can we go?" And finally, One morning, Johnny agreed to take her along. Moni was over the moon with the excitement, hastily packing her father's fishing gear and urging him to hurry up. "Hurry up, Dad, let's go! I want to catch so many fish," she exclaimed, her voice bubbling with enthusiasm. As they walked to the river, Moni bounced with excitement, greeting everyone they met with a big smile. "I'm going fishing with my dad. I'll catch the biggest fishes." The villagers smiled and wished her luck. Johnny smiled at her daughter's enthusiasm. As Moni and Johnny arrived at the river, Moni's eyes widened with excitement. She watched as her father set up the fishing nets, asking him a lot of questions like, "Dad, why do you need to tie the net like this? How do the fish get caught?" Johnny patiently answered each question, smiling at Moni's eagerness to learn. As they walked, other fishermen nearby noticed Moni's excitement. They smiled and nodded in approval, impressed by her interest in fishing. One of the fishermen offered Moni some words of encouragement. "You are going to catch some big ones today," he said. After setting up the net, Johnny sat with his daughter on their boat, waiting for fishes to get trapped in his net, hoping for a successful fishing. After waiting for several hours, he could only catch very few fishes. He thought to himself that today's fishing was really poorer than usual. Seeing the dull expression on her father's face, Moni asked her father why he looked so sad. "Dad, what's wrong? Are you sad because we didn't catch enough fishes?" Johnny forced a smile, not wanting to worry his daughter. "It's just the way it is sometimes, dear." "Okay, Dad, then let me sing a song to cheer you up," she said, and he nodded, caressing her adorable cheeks. And she began to sing beautifully, enchanted by her voice. All the fishes in the river began swimming towards their boat. At first, Johnny thought it was just a coincidence, but as more and more fishes swam towards them, he realized that Moni's singing was somehow attracting them. Suddenly, a very huge fish jumped out of the water into their boat without having to catch it. Moni stopped quickly, scared out of the way the fishes were trooping into their boat, while her father was shocked and speechless. As Moni stopped singing, the fishes ceased their unusual behavior, hovering around the water as if they were waiting for the music to continue. Johnny, surprised by this, urged Moni to continue singing. When Moni continued singing once more, the fishes resumed their swim towards the boat. They poured in, filling it to the brim. As the boat overflowed with fish, the villagers, drawn by the commotion, gathered at the riverbank to witness the miracle. They watched in surprise and silence, their eyes wide with wonder, as Moni's singing brought in the most bountiful catch anyone had ever seen. This event spread like wildfire through the village, and soon people from all over rushed to the river to witness it firsthand, the magical singing that was bringing in the fish. The villagers cheered and applauded, amazed by Moni's incredible talent and the astonishing scene unfolding before their eyes. That day, Moni and her dad returned home with an enormous catch, surpassing any fisherman in the village. From then on, Moni accompanied her dad on every fishing trip. Moni's gift proved to be a blessing for her family. Her dad, Johnny, once known as the poorest man in the community, who struggled to provide 3 meals a day, however, became the wealthiest fisherman in that community and lived a comfortable life with his wife and daughter, Moni.